got folks, but we gon' keep the chat tight, keeping out trolls. That's why you gotta get your green name on, your pregame on, cause ain't nobody doing it better, reviewing it better, building rapport so you in tune with the players, with some quick prize picks so you can scoop you some cheddar. Get your mug or your shirt with the letters. Game time.
It's game day. Joining me is my guy, Dylan Lark, and my guy, Dustin Michaud. Guys, Auburn versus Georgia today. As we speak, Missouri is getting a whole butthole stomping by Texas A&M. Hopefully Auburn is not next. If you're joining us for the first time here, this is our pregame show. See lots of green names in the chat, but a little housekeeping before we get started. This pregame is brought to you by the Autograph app. Guys, visit your phone's app store today and download Autograph. Autograph is your one-stop shop for all your team news and content. Every article read, every podcast listened to earns you points of fandom, which you can then use for rewards to buy tickets to games. Look, if you can't score tickets to an Auburn game this year, Autograph has you covered. And best of all, you'll never ever pay any fees when you purchase through the app. Download Autograph in your phone's app store today. This show is also brought to you by our friends at Manscaped. Visit manscaped.com and use code REPORTER to get 20% off plus free shipping on that Manscaped order. Listen, we're grown men in here. Dustin, Dylan. Right? We don't use the same trimmer for our balls and our face anymore.
Disgusting.
We split those things up. The Beard Hedger and the Lawnmower 5.0, they've got you covered over there at Manscaped. Use our code REPORTER to get 20% off plus free shipping. Guys, let's jump right in here. Does Auburn have a shot to beat Georgia today in Athens? They haven't won there since 2005. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I was in kindergarten when that happened.
Yeah, you were a young man when that.
I'm now 3 years out of college.
Look, we know Peyton Thorne's going to get the start today. It looks like Hugh Freeze has leaned all the way into Peyton Thorne. But give me your thoughts here on this one. Can Auburn get it going offensively? They've been moving the ball. Moving the ball hasn't been an issue, I think, for this offense. It's just been turnovers and scoring. Guys, before we get to the chat here, man, give me your thoughts real quick on this offensively, Dustin.
Yeah, first off, big shout out to you, Mike. I've never heard my name said like that. It's McShaud, and McShaud, and remind me to tell you the story. Remind me to tell you the story to that whenever we get off here.
I know a Michaud, and that's how he pronounces it. So my bad.
Yeah, McShaud. But yeah,
McShaud.
But look, and Dylan, I was in the 8th grade. The last time it happened. So yeah, and I turned 33 this month. So it's been a long time. I think this is the first game this year where the talent gap, and I say excuse, not really an excuse, it exists. This is the first game where it's like, okay, I accept that going in. Auburn is just outmanned here. Georgia's better at most of the positions. I think we're going to make some explosive plays, Mike. And in this streak, Auburn hasn't even really been competitive in Athens. Like, it hasn't. You have never even gone in there feeling like Auburn can even keep it close. I actually think Auburn covers the spread today. I've seen enough from this team, and we're halfway through the season to know that Auburn can move the ball. But I feel like we're going to self-destruct at some point and kind of give it to Georgia. And I kind of see this game playing out like the Oklahoma game did last week, but on the flip side, I think it'll be Georgia that's up by a touchdown, maybe 10 points late, and they kind of slam the door and close it versus Auburn, how we threw the pick six. I think the whole game you'll kind of know that Georgia is the better team. It'll never really be in doubt, but Auburn's good enough to hang around and not get the doors blown off today. And maybe we can walk away from this game saying, look, first time we've been competitive in Athens in a long time. And the main thing that I want to see, Mike, is 3 really hard losses, like 3 gut-wrenching losses already. And just an epic collapse last week. How does this team respond? If they show up today and put up a fight, that'll tell me a lot about their psyche and just the direction of the culture.
Dylan, chime in here, man. How you feeling about today? Offensively, can the Auburn Tigers get something going versus what might be a pissed off Georgia Bulldogs team?
I don't think it'll be a might be. I think they are. Losing to Bama is in any fashion will do some damage to a psyche. But this game matters a lot to me in the fact that my girlfriend's a Georgia fan.
Oh yeah,
and she's already she's already informed me that she's brought her Georgia sweatshirt to wear during this game.
Okay.
So that's going to determine the speaking terms for at least a couple hours after the game. But Auburn has had an explosive offense all year. And this game's going to come down to, can you not turn over the football? Against Oklahoma, that was barring that Peyton Thorne fumble that could have gone the other way. Last week was the first time since New Mexico State where Auburn has not had multiple turnovers in a game. Can you keep it up? I don't know if Auburn can against the Georgia defense. This might be a way for them to finally break out in some way because Georgia's defense has had some moments where they've struggled, especially against the vertical passing game. But overall, I think that Auburn's going to do some damage offensively, but I agree they're going to cover, but I don't know if there'll be enough to get over the hump.
It's going to be interesting. 24.5 points is the spread on this one. I thought that was, given that Auburn has held every Power 5 opponent they played under 350 yards of total offense this year. I thought that spread was ridiculous. I know it's in Athens. I know Auburn doesn't have a great history there, but Carson Beck can be got. And we'll see if this defense can get him a little bit. Let's jump to the comments here. Our pregame shows are about you guys, so we want to get to tons of comments here on the eve of game day. Daniel Denny says, I think we beat Missouri. They are terrible. Lots of you guys watching that Missouri game right now. I tried to tell Ike, guys, and he just could not resist picking Brady Cook in this one. And I was like, nope, they got exposed versus Vanderbilt. They're frauds. They lied on their resumes. They're not good.
I'm guilty of that too. I'm guilty of the Brady Cook staying on the Mizzou train too long.
Yeah, we talked about that before we started here. Madison AU Chief says Archie, Cal, OU were terrible too, but I'm with you. Dustin, or Dylan, I'm sorry, or Didi, whoever, which one of you is Didi?
Is that both of us?
Yeah, Didi. Okay, both of you. Yeah, we just need to show up and play and be consistently good. Tim Tooman Taylor says Missouri is hot dog water. They're pretty bad. Missouri is definitely looking like trash. Man, lots of Missouri hate in chat today. Brad Browning says Missouri's. I'm sorry. Brad Browning says Rhett Lashley will be Auburn's next head coach. You heard it here first. Brad, you got no chill today. Tatiana with the everlasting bug. Georgia 80, Auburn 3. Yikes, man.
That's reverse. That's reverse bug.
That is reverse bug on them.
Goob. It's goob.
Right. Madison comes in and says it has potential to go either way, Tatiana, but don't listen to me. I started drinking too early. We lost a recruit to Georgia today already, but I still think it will stretch out to signing day. They're talking about the running back that committed to Georgia around 11 a.m. this morning. Yeah. There was some speculation that he might flip to Auburn. Well, not really flip, but you know what I mean. And Auburn made a late push for this kid. So to be in the running, I think late was a great thing for Auburn. But yeah, I would hate to say I wouldn't say they lost a recruit to Georgia. This kid was always in the Georgia camp.
Yeah, that was that recruitment went back and forth. At one time, it was crystal ball to Florida State. Then Auburn was in the lead, and then Georgia kind of brought it home.
Auburn dad says y'all been drinking since before lunch to try to get courage enough to watch this game. Look, man, I think everybody's looking for a little something here. Dustin Pace says, "Oh man, I'm so nervous. Know we can win, and it's giving me the textbook hope before crushing me again." This is where most Auburn fans are at right now. It's like, I get my hopes up every single week that Auburn can win the week 6 national championship almost. Yeah, they let you down. Trevor says Wardam Eagle. Daniel Denny says we won't lose by 50. We find a way to lose the game. Look, that's been kind of the theme. I want to stick here for a second. Finding ways to lose game has been kind of a theme for Auburn through these 3 losses, right? Games they should have won. And a lot of fans get mad when we say this, but they were a better team than Cal. I think they were a better team than OU. I think they're a better team than Arkansas. But the final score reflected that those teams won and Auburn lost. On the defensive side of the ball, guys, what do you see here from the secondary? It feels like that's really the weak spot for Auburn, is giving up big plays in the secondary, Dylan.
Now, yeah, the defense, the secondary has been really good most of the time. Like those man coverage instances for them, they've looked better than we expected them to. But there's always that one play that makes it seem like the secondary is just the worst on the team. I mean, you had the 60-yard reception against I think Arkansas had the touchdown on a 60-yard touchdown on like fourth down. Oklahoma had that one last week. They've looked impressive and better than expected up to this point. And Georgia hasn't really established a true number one threat at wide receiver yet. And I think that kind of works in Auburn's favor here. But there's always an opportunity for someone to have a breakout game. Hasn't it been the case that every quarterback Auburn's played thus far has had the game of the year, at least in the ones Auburn's lost?
Dustin, thoughts on the secondary, man? Kayan Lee made his return versus Oklahoma, came up with a pick, and then they gave up big plays to the young quarterback. I think it was a little disappointing to see there. What do you see from the secondary?
I just honestly, when it comes to secondary, I just see young guys that have a whole lot of talent, and I see them getting better every week. I mean, you're mixing and matching, you're trying to figure it out. As we got closer to the season, and you heard about the Scott injury and Colton Hood transferring to Colorado and all that, it's kind of like you start to worry, like, oh man, we're kind of getting thin on here on the outside. And then you move Champ Anthony from the inside to the outside in the Arkansas game. He's having the best quarter of his life, and he gets hurt. So it's tough. But I have full confidence in Charles Kelly and Wesley McGriff. Like, they have long resumes of being very, very good coaches. And, they've just had to kind of move guys around and try to figure out what's work. You got a young safety in Sylvester Smith. You're trying to break in. The kid from Thompson High, Caleb Harris. He's playing really well. So you got young pieces back there. It's the SEC. And I think there's a whole lot of talent back there that's just trying to get ready, and they're trying to find the right mix of those guys. And everybody gave a guy like Zion Puckett hell, but Zion Puckett was really the leader back there and getting guys set up in the right position. Jalen Simpson, obviously a vet that played a lot of football, helped out with that too. And you lost those guys, so it takes time. Yes, they've been susceptible to big plays. Got to get your head around the third longs really drive you crazy. I'm kind of interested to see this team as a whole, how we play away from home. Hugh Freeze has 4 wins as Auburn's head coach over Power 4 teams, 3 of them on the road. Now, I know it's a sorry Arkansas, a sorry Cal, and a sorry Vanderbilt team, but still, you lost to 2 of those teams at home this year. So maybe getting away from home will take some of the pressure off, and they'll relax, kind of let their hair down, and just play ball a little bit. But the secondary, I see young cats balling, and I see young cats growing. So I'm okay with how they've been playing and how they continue to get better, in my opinion, every week.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what Carson Beck does in here. Look, no more Brock Bowers. Thank God that guy's gone, right? It's been tough for Auburn, I think, with that kid on the other end of a lot of those passes. But looking at passing depth for Carson Beck so far this year, look, he's completed 10 balls of 20 yards or more on the season. That's 10 out of 28. So he's just a little bit better than like 35% passing down the field, which is not great, but not terrible. Where he really gets you is in the middle of the field, where he's deadly accurate. Look, I think Auburn has to slow Carson Beck down in this one and try to maybe force this to the ground game. He obviously tore Bama up in the second half of that game. Now, he made some mistakes in the first half. Ultimately, threw a pick that kind of ended their hopes there. But I think that this Georgia offense has been a little bit more aired out than I thought they would be this year so far with Carson Beck. Going back to the comments here, we appreciate everybody for joining us. Let's see here. Joshua says, War Eagle, y'all. Hope Chroma gets to watch us beat GA today. It would be weirdly poetic for them to lose on the day that he commits to GA. Marshall Jones says Auburn has 0 chance. JB says 31-7 dogs. Brad Browning says, oh, snap, Chroma picked UGA. Yes, he did. Trevor Thornton says, upset Saturday with no mistakes. We're not off to a bad start here with Missouri going down in probably was going to be the biggest upset of the day, I think. We'll see. Alabama plays Vanderbilt.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm not hoping for an upset there, but
no, Bama by 100 there.
We can always dream, right? Montgomery Maid says they can if the QB doesn't give it to the other team. Or a lot of folks are going to be watching Peyton Thorne, and can he protect the ball today? So Hugh Freeze has got to put Peyton Thorne in some better positions, fellas, today. And they've got to run Jarquez Hunter. Look, on Monday, after the game, I asked Hugh Freeze in the post game, yo, what was that stuff with Sam Jackson on the OU one? Like, what was that? And he was like, well, we've been practicing that. We feel good about that. But then on Monday in the press conference, when asked if he had any regrets, he said, I regret not giving it to Jarquez on the 1 yard line. I was encouraged to hear that he regretted that. I really was, because I was very disappointed in that call. I thought they got too cute. And I'm not a big Sam Jackson guy. So, like, I just felt like it was too much. You're doing too much. This guy got voted first team All SEC preseason. Just hand him the ball and let him get you 1 yard. So hopefully Auburn does not get too cute today. Connor Hall says no shot. Just want to look like a competent team. Peyton Thorne said he's tired of silver linings, and I agree with him. No more moral victories. Let's go get some actual victories. AU Curmudgeon says first road game and at UGA, not a chance. Whew, this is the least amount of bug I've had. I think we've had from the comment section in a while. Usually you guys are like, Mike, you're kind of negative. Now everybody's joining me.
Everyone's using their eyes. Yeah.
Right. We all living in the right dimension today. LJGDT says kindergarten, that made me feel old. Yeah, these guys are young, man, I tell you. Daniel says Missouri is doo-doo. They are doo-doo. Peachy Autumn says, is it true Deuce Knight is coming to Auburn? Yes, Deuce has committed. And not only has he committed, he's recruiting. He's doing this thing Walker White style, guys. He is really going out and trying to get other guys to commit to the Auburn Tigers. So if he can get Naeem offered, I think, and a couple of these other guys. I think Caleb Cunningham was on his list. Dylan, who else was on his list of guys?
Chroma was on that list.
Yeah, he failed there.
Andrew Babalola was on that list.
Babalola. Yeah. Just getting offered in Babalola to come would be incredible.
Naheem offered too, the number one corner in the country, and there's a lot of smoke really coming up around that one that Auburn could be trending there.
Yeah. I mean, that would
give Auburn 9 out of the top 10 of the state of Alabama.
Yeah, it was an incredible job by Hugh Freeze. I think fans need at least that to hang their hat on right now. Recruiting. Tatiana, your score is evolving. At first it was 80-3. Now you're giving them 96. What is this? What's going on with you, Tatiana?
Get closer to game time. The realism is setting in.
All right, put down the bourbon there, Tatiana. Lloyd O'Daniel says, been moving the ball. That's like saying the band was great on the Titanic.
I agree. Yeah,
but the band was good on the Titanic.
They were really good.
They were really good. Yeah. Man, Rose couldn't let Jack on that door. Reeves Uppercut says, I just hope the guys have fun today. Yeah, I hate you for that comment. Marshall again, Auburn gets beat by 30. Look, I'm assuming this is Ike here. Shocker at Tatiana with the lopsided prediction against Auburn. Look, once upon a time, Tatiana was like she was a you guys are too negative chatter, and now look at you, Tatiana. Can't find any positivity in
too much losing, bro. It'll do it.
It'll do
3
it.
straight losing seasons on your way to a 4th. I mean, come on now.
Mm-hmm. Fire Free says I keep wavering between a 10-point and a 40-point game.
That's a lot of disparity.
Yeah, look, a 24.5-point spread is wild to me. I don't know. Tatiana says, Mike, I love Auburn, you know that, but we can't hide from facts right now. We are rebuilding. I didn't want to accept the rebuilding mantra because you've got talent. And when I think rebuild, I think you're trying to you've had enough talent to win the games that you've lost. Yep. Is that really a rebuild? I don't think that qualifies as a rebuild. I think that the coaches need to rebuild some ideas on that play sheet.
Can't both things be true, Mike? Like, can't it be a rebuild, but you still gave away games you should have won?
Sure. Yeah. But are these losses about the rebuild? I don't think we've gotten to that part of the schedule yet.
No, we're about to, and that's what makes the first part of the season so frustrating.
Yeah, for sure. Brad Browning with the relationship advice for Dylan here. Dump her, Dylan. My wife of 20 years was a Bama fan, but I converted her.
Hey, she wears Auburn gear. Don't worry.
Brad says his wife to Kent War Eagle. That's funny. Ephesians says Auburn had not won in Death Valley since 1999, and that awful 21 team beat LSU in Death Valley. Why not this team beat Georgia in Athens? As much as y'all hate Harsin, as much as y'all hate Harsin, he ended the streak in Death Valley. He did that.
The LSU team went like 6-5
by the legs and the backbone of Bo Nix.
That's true. A couple of really, really good plays.
I don't think Brian Harsin called those plays that led to that win.
Yeah. Listen,
that's not how that was drawn up.
I think that a lot of people are hoping that Auburn can get the offense going today, fellas. It's going to be interesting to see. Zooted95 says run the ball, shorten the game, and we can make it interesting. Again, yeah, I agree with this. If you can run the ball, keep the ball out of their hands, get your defense some rest, you might have a shot in this one. So can they run the ball? Can they get it up and down the field? It's going to be a big question. Or can they get it up, period? Well, Joy Mode might be able to help them with that. Visit tryjoymode.com. If you need to get it up before this game, use code REPORTER to get 20% off, plus free shipping at joymode.com. Our friends at Joy Mode taking you from 6 to midnight every night. Look, let's get back to the comments here, guys. We're going to jump off in about 3 minutes here to get you guys time to get settled before the game. But I want to hear a few more comments. Justin Pace says, I've decided to go to the beach while watching to listen to the waves and keep myself calm. The beach might not be a bad idea. Spicy Penguin, UGA made that late push on Chroma, not Auburn. It was Auburn and FSU until UGA showed up and it was lights out. Okay, some perspective there. I appreciate that, Spicy Penguin. So UGA made this. So they came through with the bag at the last minute. My Auburn daughter is at the game. I hope they make it worth the travel. It was going to be a tough trip for me, fellas. 4 hours to Athens to, now if they pull off something historic, I'm going to regret it. What's that, Dylan?
I said just to get barked at.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of being barked at. Before we get out of here, guys, let's get some predictions from you guys. I called this one 38-21. I think Auburn gets 21 points in this one. Dylan, how do you see this one? Tatiana says 96-3.
I'm not going to go that far. I'm still going to pick Georgia to win this game, but I'm going to get Auburn to cover the spread, and I think it's going to be a defensive showcase for both teams.
I like that.
I'm going to say Georgia 24, Auburn 14.
Ooh, 24-14. That's a pretty good defensive performance by Auburn, by the way. But that is an absolutely horrid performance on offense by Auburn. Dustin, what do you got on this one?
On our prediction show Friday, I said 28-17 Georgia. As like Dylan said a minute ago, we got a little bit closer to kickoff. Hope kind of fading away a little bit that we can even do that. I'm gonna go 31. I'm gonna go 31-17 Georgia.
31-17 Georgia. Guys, I've got Auburn getting to 21 in this one. I think that it's a game going into the fourth quarter, kind of, within 10 points, and Georgia pulls away a little bit. It's hard to ignore what they've been doing offensively. They have been moving. I know people don't want to hear it, but they have been moving the ball offensively. And they are top 5 in the nation in explosive plays. Can they continue that on the road in Athens? Now, it's been home games, sure. Can they find those explosive plays down the road? Last week versus OU, 6 of 7 Peyton Thorne was on passes of 20 or more yards down the field. If he can hit 6 passes of 20 or more yards in this one, Auburn's going to get past that 17-point mark, guys. I promise you.
Are you taking the over or the under on the 0.5 interceptions for Peyton Thorne?
Ooh, oh God, pound that over.
That's on Prize Picks.
Pound that, easy money.
Under. I'm going under. No picks for Peyton Thorne today. No picks. Hugh's gonna help keep it out of harm's way today.
The only way Peyton Thorne does not throw any interceptions today is if
Hugh's gonna do it.
If Jarquez Hunter,
he's gonna do it.
Jarquez Hunter has 40 carries today and Damari has 20, then Peyton Thorne won't throw any interceptions.
There you go.
Today.
Hey, I'm not saying how they're gonna get there. I'm just saying, look, they'll find a way to get there. Really cozy says, under the weather today, a win will help me out. A win will help a lot of people out. My brother in Christ. It's going to be interesting to see. Man, these comments are flying here. Zudit says, Auburn has to shorten the game and run the ball. Even if we are getting 4 to 5 yards, we need to lean into that and take our shots when they are there. Have you guys seen the conference rushing numbers so far this year? Jarquez Hunter is like kind of middle of the pack, but there's not a lot of yards that separates like 8 from 3. It's like one big game will jolt you to the top of the conference rushing total. So it's going to be interesting. He's right there. I think he's on pace for 1,000-yard season for sure. So Auburn's got possibly a 1,000-yard runner and a 1,000-yard receiver on deck this year. I can't remember when we know the last time they've had a 1,000-yard receiver. It was 1999. Had some guys come close. This is Ike there. It's definitely a rebuild, even with talent, and getting that talent to understand how to win is different. I agree with that as well, too. King Richard says Auburn goes into it with a chip on their shoulder with Georgia making this homecoming. Not a lot of good choices for Georgia in terms of homecoming. It felt like, it was just one of those things where what game are you going to pick if you're there?
This one. Yeah, this one. They've been smashing Auburn for 2 decades. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why not? Tatiana added 3 more points to her total. She's now at 99-3. I don't know if I'm going to get down here low enough until she's got them scored 200 on us. 6 fumbles and 0 turnovers. Jesus. Marshall 48-17. Yeah. God, man. Ooh, man.
Progress.
Look, this halftime conversation is going to be interesting. When we come back at halftime, we're going to see if you guys are still as negative. I have a feeling it's going to be a game at halftime.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be a game at halftime, and maybe some the bug will have returned. Look, guys, we're going to have returned here as we get back in, but we appreciate everybody for joining us for our post-game show. For our pregame show. As always, you guys know the deal. Join as a member. If you're in the chat right now and you're unable to chat, you know why. It's because you don't have a green name. We need you guys to get that green name going so you can join the Green Name Gang at halftime and talk about whatever's going on here with Auburn. Guys, that's it. We'll be back at you at halftime. Look out for the link. We'll tweet it out. War Eagle.
War Eagle.